So, good evening, sir. It's truly an honor and a privilege for us to introduce a distinguished leader from India's manufacturing and steel industry. Today, we are extremely grateful to have with us Mr. Shilp Sharma, the Managing Director of Brahmani Rivers Pellets Limited. Sir brings with him an inspiring professional journey of more than 31 years of exemplary experience in the fields of pellet plant, commissioning, large scale operation, advanced automation, and so on. Under his visionary leadership, BRPL has continued to strengthen its commitment to operational excellence, energy efficiency, digitalization. His career reflects a rare blend of technical expertise, strategic decision making, and people centric leadership, making him a respectable figure in the manufacturing ecosystem. So, on behalf of our entire team, as part of our Principles of Management and Economics academic project, we are grateful to you for sparing your valuable time to interact with us today. And today, before starting, we'd like to introduce ourselves. So, I'm Shriyam Adya Sharma. My teammates, Shwesji and
I'm Suresh.
Shwesas are also here. Yeah, and so with your kind permission, we would like to proceed with our first questions.
Good. Thanks for a very good introduction. I mean, there are a lot of exemplary words which are used, which I'm not used to of it. Thanks. Go ahead. Go ahead, Gates.
Okay, sir, so after more than 3 decades in industry, how is your career journey present leadership role or evolved into your leadership role?
It's on a step by step, brick by brick exercise. When I started 31 year back, then I was one of the engineering pass out like you guys are, and then slowly I got into the industries and started working at the shop floor. I started my career in shifts. We were building up a new projects. I was initially posted at Visakhapatnam, and there we were building one new pelletization plant, which was a new technology. It was imported from Germany. So we had time. I had time or opportunity to interact with all those experts, which we call them, industry experts from all over the world, and slowly started picking up the things, and then after installation, after project commissioning, I was also working in shift. I used to go in the night shifts, used to look into the maintenance activities like what you guys feel that every technician comes to your hostel and college and repair the thing. I used to do all those things. Slowly, as the time passes by, you started picking up the thing, graduated into the different roles. I became, that plant, my department head. Then after that, I became vice president of the organization, where I started looking into total maintenance, which includes electrical, mechanical, anything. Then I became operation head slowly, and so the journey continues. And from last 30 years, I have worn different cap or different hats, you can say. So it's a step-by-step exercise. When I look back, I too believe that anyone who starts early, that in his age, let's say 21, 20, 23, they all have to undergo this rigorous process. Then only you can reach to the pinnacle, or then only you can reach to the position which matters in the corporate world.
Sir, one
That's
more add on to this question. Like, what was the single most critical turning point which played a major role in shaping your leadership approach?
Yeah, I was a technical guy. I also did engineering. I'm an electronics engineer. You would be wondering what am I doing here in steel making? But it happens. On those 30 years back, there weren't many of opportunities, and whatever came in our lap or my lap, I took it, and I continued somehow. Whether we accept it or not, I continue with that. And for the first 15 or 17 years of my career, I was into my department technical, like electronics, and then got migrated to electrical and automation and instrumentation, which all are basically part of electronics and part of electrical department in the industry. Then some point of time, maybe around I must say 12 years back or 14 years back, I got an opportunity to switch over myself from my department, from whatever I was looking at, to the overall plant maintenance. That was the one major switch. And then you get to know different aspect of the industry. You come out of your shell, you open your horizon, and that's what the change. And once I did well, they also gave me an opportunity to look into overall plant operation, which was actually not my field, because this industry is mostly metallurgical industry, basically where I am at. So mostly metallurgical or otherwise mechanical engineers are the one who are called shorts in operation. But that then the management thought I would be the person of who can lead this, who can look into the operation as well. And I took that opportunity. So that I believe that is where I say that was the first stepping stone which brought me to this stage. Otherwise, I would have been an HOD of my department at the most by now. So,
So, sir, at your current level, what do you think is the most important day-to-day responsibilities of planning, coordination, and control?
um, yes, as such, see, it's because I am in this industry and this particular industry or particular job from last 10, 12 years. We know all the team down the stream and the people who are actually working in the plant and upstream and all. So most of the plant related activities are now being shared by those people, like the plant head and other engineers and all. So, though I look into the every day, I look into the reports and all that how the plant is functioning, but basic focus is how to keep the operations flow. In this competitive market, once you go up into the ladder, you basically leave the things which are at the shop floor. You still look at how to keep yourself sustainable in the changing time. How do you foresee a future? How do you foresee a future? If not a future 5 years down the line, at least a year or two down the line, we should be able to see that this is what the industry expects from us, and that's what we should either migrate or we should tune ourselves to face those challenges, modify the process a bit, shape the organization so that we should be able to face those times, turbulent times and all that. Every industry is cyclical industry. I'm into steel industry, which is known as cyclical industry, and every 2 3 years there is a downturn. Right now steel prices are rock bottom. Like that, every other, look at IT now, they are also not doing good, which what they used to do. There was a dot-com bubble in 2000 when I was fresher from the college, and everybody was talking big about IT. When there was down cycle came. Same thing, real estate 2008, when the subprime crisis came, everything collapsed. The world collapsed. Looks like as if there is no future. But people tuned themselves. They might be migrated to the new technology, new fields, and they survived. So that's what a leader is supposed to do. That's what I am supposed to do. And that's what I am trying to do to keep my industry afloat in this competitive market.
Okay,
Understood, sir.
one more question I wanted to ask is over the years, you must have seen a shift from a rigid rule based management system like Max Weber's hierarchical system to human relation models and Hawthorne experiments. And when you come to this social relation model, you might have went through various contingency approaches. So, at currently in your organization, to what kind of management approach do you stress more upon, and how do you think it will boost productivity? Each and every approaches.
Yeah. Yeah, very good question. Time has changed in all these years. Simple, when I used to be in school, a teacher used to come with a cane. But I'm sure when you guys were in school or college, it isn't so. Right. So similarly, the that forceful pushing of someone to the work, which I must say I'm not getting the right word, but let's take it for a moment that when we used to push somebody, when to push somebody to the work, now that type of system no longer exists.
Yeah.
That work culture, which now we call it toxic culture, is slowly fading away. It is still exists, not that it doesn't exist, but those countries, those companies do not thrive. There's a famous phrase that people don't quit job, people quit toxic work culture. So earlier, the industries were mostly, family-driven, entrepreneurial. I must say that organizations where only family used to rule. They only used to call shots. They were interfering on day-to-day operation. There was no word like professionalism that time. They used to run it like a house, one home. Slowly professional culture started coming in, where the owner, they don't look into the day-to-day operation. They are basically the one who actually only giving the guidelines, and the professional takes over. Tata Group is one of the best example for that. Nobody owns Tata Group. It runs by Tata Trust. Okay, so that's the culture happens. So I too have undergone through all these things. Of course, 20-25 years back, it was difficult to get educated engineers or educated people of work who are into these lines. So when you don't have those type of people and you only hire locals who are having a very less skills and ask them to do the work. So that time the only management to put them on the work or shop floor was to put force or put pressure or threaten them because they were working, looking for their livelihoods. But now, as the country is changing, migrating towards a better middle class society, or earning per capita has increased, even at the person who is the lowest strata, he would like to be given respect. That's what the people expect. Even the gig workers request you to expect us to give us some respect as and when they come to deliver things to our home, right? So that is why that HR professionals and that culture has popped in now. And fortunately, the company where I belong to, where I am working at, my earlier organization also, from the beginning, they were too human centric. I mean, they never ever, actually made us feel that the work is a punishment sort of thing. It was always work is for a pleasure. Of course, we do have targets, we do have to work, but at the same time, it's not that we need to we all of us sleep with pressure and all of us are having attention. No, nothing of that sort. So that has changed a lot nowadays. I'm sure, and especially the IT industries and the service industry, they are the ones who have basically migrated us in this era, in this genre, where that the respect for timing, that you have to 9 to 5 means you have to work 9 to 5. People should be respected at their desktop. Privacy is to be ensured. Girls should be given, that security while they are at workplace, shop floor. So that type of culture has come up. So it's better. I mean, from the time when I started, the things are much better.
Okay.
So, sir, as you said, so how are long-term business goals and yearly production or any financial target finalized in your organization? In what way do you approve it?
Basically, in any industry, like if you look at my industry, where things are manufactured based on the machine which we have or the facility we have, it has got a capacity. So we know that this is the capacity, maximum capacity we can produce. So that is the first thing which we all are aware of while we are fixing our annual business plan. Every financial year in India, it starts from April to the financial year is from April to next year March. So in the before 2-3 months back, we do this exercise where we take inputs from the previous year performances, previous year or the existing market conditions. So what are the demand and supply scenario right now? Based on that, we plan our business plan, annual business plan, and annual business plan is then broken into monthly business plan, and their monthly business plan is then circulated to the teams which are at the ground level. So the monthly business plan is now then broken by them into daily business plan and then shift-wise business plan. So that is the way the second level of exercise is done at the shop floor, depends on the requirement, where they do have to shut down plants at times for the maintenance activities, so that they plan accordingly. And for us, for every business, is the bottom line matters. There's a top line, there's a bottom line. Profit matters. So business is any factory setup, any business is initiated, started to earn some revenue and then to maximize the profit. So ROI is the most important thing for any business calculation. What would be your return on investment? So that is what the, because every process, if I'm making a mobile phone also, the cost is maybe 1 lakh rupees, but the The material cost itself could be 40, 50, 60,000 rupees. So that is what you are investing first, and then you are going on the market to sell it. So you have to visualize that these many mobile phones can be made, and those can be sold, and people would be willing to buy at this price. Then only your business is successful. If you make something which there is no takers, then you're lost. You're totally lost, because what would you do with this dead inventory? Several business collapse with that, and those inventories were sold out in kgs. So that is the most important thing as a leader one should look at. How do we plan at least next year production?
Okay, one more
Thank you,
question.
sir.
Okay. Coming to capital investment and decision making, when a major expansion, modernization, or capital investment is proposed, what key factors do you personally evaluate before approving it?
ROI is the main key factor. Number one, return on investment and return of capital employed. ROE, ROI, and ROC. These are the two most important words with any corporate leader you may expect, because that's the way you take a decision. Also, we also need to keep innovating ourselves. Other thing is to change. As famously Jack Welch once said, that change before you have to change.
Yeah.
Before the market forces put you up for a change, you yourself should migrate. Industry, you should be able to foresee the coming and start changing life. Nobody, what happened to those rotary phones now? They lost. Nokia could not keep the pace with the changing time. They could not change themselves. Kodak could not change. They were still on those black and white, those cameras and the printing rolls. They could not see. But if you Google it and you look at the history, you will find Kodak was having a digital camera. They never ever launched it because they wanted to earn from their roll printing, right? So they lost
Yeah.
it now. It is gone. So that change, innovation change is also required. So when we do take a decision of capex or anything innovation, we also look at what might be required, because whatever capex we are investing in an industry, there are two, three thumb rules that it has to have a something around 2 to 4 years of ROI, ROC, or return on investment should be able, payback period should be 2 to 4 years. Then the technology which we are investing in, that should be actually relevant for the next 2 or 3 decades, 20, 30 years. Because so much of infrastructure ecosystem needs to be installed or created, that should run continuously for at least 2, 3 days. A typical process industry plant life is 25 years to 30 years. So if any capex I am investing or I am approving, I would always look at whether we will be relevant 20 years down the line or not.
So the long-term vision.
Yeah, ROC and ROI should be between 2 to 5 years, because then only you have money back to think about the new project. If that is more than 5 years, 7 years, then generally interest cost in India is considered 10%. For the
Mhm.
industry, it is 12%. So you imagine 100 rupees at 12%, but 6 to 7 years. So even if your money you keep it in bank, within 6 to 7 years it will be double. So what is the use of investing in the industry? So that is why within 2 to 3 years, the whatever capital you have invested, at least you should get a payback, and then your profit cycle start for the next decade. So
So my next question is, how do macroeconomic factors like inflation or tax cuts like the recent GST reductions, how do they affect profitability and other factors in your industry?
it does affect a lot. That's what I said. Now, when once you are in the leadership post, generally I don't look at it at the plant operation. Those are being given to somebody else. Our most of the focus is on any government change in policy, any change in tax structure, any budget, new imposition of tax or new policy or new PLI scheme. How can we get benefit out of it? That is what is important, because in a competitive market, every penny counts. If you won't get into, your competitor will get into, and then you may lose the race. So that is why, like, look at the race of EV and look at the IC engine. IC engines will slowly fade out. May not be in 1 year, 2 year, but in Europe and certain countries, they have faded out totally. It's only EV. So that's the point. So once you have to keep looking for those opportunity or keep changes the government is trying to bring in. Climate changes, like look at the climate changes. Government is asking, all we are hearing of all these Delhi scenario, or this a lot of problem with the ozone layer and the carbon border adjustment tax (CBAM), which is imposed in Europe and all those things. So we need to prepare ourselves. As per our the Honorable Prime Minister vision, 2070, India is supposed to be a zero emission, right? No, so then we have to totally green energy. So all the industries, steel is one of the most pollutant industry in the world. Of the one, number one is chemical, number two is steel. We pollute the environment mostly, and we also consume the electricity or the energy mostly. So those two things needs to get converted into the green energy by 2070. So these are the government initiative, government policies. Government will start imposing taxes or imposing penalties on this. So we need to gear up for that. So that is what we do. That basically every new initiative or every new proposal of the government is threadbare analyzed in the organization, and the plus and minuses are sorted out, and then we take a call based on that, and prepare ourselves to be on the right side of the law.
And the next question is,
So,
yeah, I will proceed. You can read out the next question. Okay, in kind of challenging industrial environments, what truly matters or motivates the employees more? Is it the salary or the job security or the recognition, growth opportunities, or is it the strong work culture?
Very tricky question, because it depends on what sort of business you are into, what sort of industry you are into it. Mostly, if it is an industry where I am into it, manufacturing and all, there the salary percentage makes a lot.
Okay.
That is the one which is the real driver, because ultimately at the end everybody has to get into the shop floor only, whoever is working at that.
Yeah.
And shop floor is the one where, and also of course the people who are into manufacturing and process industry, most of the time these industries, they are away from metro, they are into the distant corner of the country, they are into the different areas which are not properly connected, they are not well facilitated, they don't have proper hospitals, schools, etc. So can't help it, because these industries have to come up in those areas only. So there, the biggest motivation is only the salary. Why would somebody leave a life of Bombay, Bangalore, or Hyderabad and would come over to the distant corner of the country in a job or industry? Just the money. Of course, other things also matter, but salary matters most.
Hmm.
But if you are in the service industry, or in the IT industry, or into the banks, financials, and other, then the work culture makes a much more. Of course, work culture makes an impact in our industry also everywhere, but their work culture is much more important, because they're right all the time. Working in the services, you need to satisfy the customer, who is very demanding all the time, and at the same time your bosses, because you have to meet the target deadlines. That is why they are under tremendous pressure. And most of the time, service industry works on human perfection or human efficiency. While in my case, at times, if I get a better machine, then 90% job is done, because the machine is better. So we can do, the productivity can be taken care. So a lot of pressure goes away. In your case, or in the service industry case, which India is mostly a service driven economy, where the actual focus is on the customer satisfaction or customer demand, mostly works through the service network. So where I believe that work culture is the one which plays a major role. Of course, other things matter, but work culture is the one. Even you might be seeing a lot of high-paid employees also are leaving jobs and
Yeah.
switching over to the comparatively better organized industry at a low pay scale, because they can't cope up with that. Can't have the pressure of traveling to and fro, working overnight, keeping sync with the US timings and all. These are the new works which you guys would be, but that matters most. That's what my personal feeling is.
Thank you for
so
your
compared
feedbacks.
to what, yeah, so compared to what you said, do you think like the employee motivation has changed significantly compared to what you had like 15 to 20 years ago? Also, if you see, like in today's time, if there are workers in your company and if they feel that they are being treated unfairly compared to others, how do you normally resolve such situations to maintain these moral and discipline?
Yeah, time has changed because earlier there weren't many opportunities. Whatever you guys are seeing now on your cityscape on the roads and all, you would see so many eateries. You will see pizzas. You will see all these. They were not there in India 20-25 years back. There weren't many jobs. There were hardly any jobs. There were no campus at all. After finishing of your college of from college engineering, IITs and all, they used to get the jobs and all. But most of other engineering colleges were only the one who used to give you degree, and then you roam around the streets, get into employment exchange, and get the interviews at some other company, and you get hold of a job which whatever comes your way first, and then if you're not comfortable, then slowly you look for the better opportunity. But the first requirement was to catch hold of a job. That was the country earlier. Now the time has changed. Now there are n number of options. You are not even the what do you call it, the GDP of the country has gone up. Middle class India that has gone up. Levels have gone up. So young kids are not under that much pressure to catch hold of any job which come on their way. They aren't. Even the parents say that you should explore new opportunity. You should try to do the better thing because anyway you'll have to work for 20, 30, 40 years down the line. So that is why those things have changed a lot. So now earlier the requirement was to get a job, and once you are so much compelled to get a job, then other thing doesn't matter whether the salary is low or the work culture is not very good. It doesn't matter at that point of time. You have to live up with those. You have to cope up with those conditions. But now the scenario have been changed now, so because the younger generation has got better options, that is the employer have also have to provide that when those options to the employees. Right. So that the employers have also changed over the year. They too have started understanding if you don't improve the work culture, nobody is going to stick to this. We have so that all these facilities, benefits, and proper office space, all those things have come up now. They weren't there earlier. Correct. So that is why, as the demand of the employments have increased and the facilities required for the employees have increased by the employees themselves, things have been changed from the employer side as well, both ways.
So, sir, in your sector, what do you think? How is automation and digitalization like PLC, SCADA, or SAP has changed cost control, productivity, and strategic decision making compared to your early years?
It is getting into everything is now digital. And of course, the process industry runs with the control system. And when I got into the industry, control system have come up. A lot of industries are operating PLC, and we migrated into DCS. We installed DCS and SCADA. SAP wasn't there at that time, but slowly, all these things have got into. Now we have all IoT-based applications running into the workshops, or the all heavy-duty machines are connected. All sensors are IoT enabled, and they would get into the your app, and that then app will do the analysis. Algorithms are there who will set up and create the alarms and the tripping points, and all condition monitoring will be taken care. So those things they have helped a lot. Those things have that increase the the availability time of the machine. Look at the always look these things from a smaller perspective. Nowadays, if you buy a car, if you buy a scooter or any motorcycle, it doesn't stop. You have to just fill it, shut it, and forget it. There used to be an ad of Hero Honda on those days when I started my work. Just take the petrol, fill the petrol, and run it. It won't stop. But 20 years down the line, the bikes and car, every day, every second or third day, they had to go to the mechanic because there were no sensor available. There are no indications available. There are no technology available to understand the condition of the machine. Slowly, even the modern car, they have incorporated all these IoT-based applications, the smart sensor, smart indicator, which not only helps the user, also it gives a lot of time these machines are equipped so that they can also connect with the service center, so they can also get signals sent to the workshops and all that. That's what happens in aviation industry a lot. So that's what the things have changed. But these things are good. These things are good for an industry to run trouble free, interruption free, and to do the production at the fullest capacity for the longer time. So whoever has not gotten into, they are in trouble. So, fortunately, our industry, our key focus is to have the best digital and the automation system in the country, in the world available to be incorporated in the organization. So we do that, and that really helps. That really helps with that.
Sir, so in your industry, would you, if there is a situation where you have to reduce the cost, would you prefer reducing it through efficiency, or would you prefer revising the price for the customers?
You cannot revise the cost with customer because we don't make any unique product until unless you make a unique product where you can dictate the price. Then only you can charge to customer whatever you can. But if you have if there's a competition, there are several people who make same product, then automatically the competition brings down to the price to the best optimum level. So whoever is cost conscious, whoever is best in optimization, he will be the winner. That's what it happens. But there are two scenarios, Shreyas. One scenario is that uh, if you want to maximize your profit, the first thing which comes is the efficiency utilization. You should increase your productivity. In the good times, when the market is very good, the product is being sold, economy is flourishing, the best option to maximize production, best option way to maximize your profit is to maximize production and increase the productivity. Because then you can tap the potential market potential as much as you can. But when the market is a downturn, when there is nobody to buy their product, when there is a stiff competition among the manufacturer, that time cost cutting comes in picture. That time you should reduce your cost. You should not, all leeways and all the corners where you feel that it can be controlled. One should do that because then that's the only way you can float in the market on those tough times. So both options will be available at any point of time. But cutting you can't cut down beyond one limit. But productivity can be increased to many folds if you incorporate technology, if you incorporate modern machines, if you introduce a new software and all those things can be increased multifold. So given a choice, the first option would be to increase productivity. Second option or last option would be to do the cut corners.
Understood.
So, like you said, do you think has this ever happened like your priorities have changed over the years due to automation or market pressure? Also, what's your point of view on like is India on the brink of a short-term overcapacity of pellets?
Yeah, it is. But pallet is the one which is. Sorry, I'm answering your second question first. But the pallet is the one which actually is the raw material for steel making. Basically, we are B2B company. We sell pallets to anybody who makes steel, that's the DRI process or the steel making process. So if steel is having a downturn, pallet will be down. So that is why your statement that right now pallet is overcapacity is partially true. But at the same time, pellet is a much better value-added product than compared to other raw material for the steel making. Conventionally, steel was being made by the iron ore which comes out of the mines, which we call it lump ore, and those were directly being fed into the blast furnaces, and then the reduction process reduces Fe2O3 into Fe, and the steel is made. This is a conventional one-line explanation of how the steel is made. But now that iron ore or the lump which comes from mine, those are being replaced by a product called pellet. Pellet is a value-added product. So what are the impurities those natural earth material we are having? Those are being taken care of. So pellet become a better product. So that is why your operations are much more stabilized, efficiency is much better, and your productivity is better in the blast furnace. But what happens, all those blast furnace, a blast furnace life is 30, 40 years. That's a huge investment, huge investment. So that is why those blast furnaces who were designed earlier, they're designed for these iron ores and other things. Correct? So still it is very difficult to use 100% pellet in the blast furnace. So normally 30 to 40% of the pellets are being used in any blast furnace. Rest of the material is from the natural earth material. But the next 20, 30, 40 years, these things will start changing. So that is why nothing wrong in being ahead of the curve, where we know that tomorrow belongs to the pellet. So that the way it has to be. Coming back to the first question, yes, because market is cyclical, as I said earlier. Now, every 2 years, 3 years down the line, when we feel that the market is not actually, as per our expectations, or we are not able to produce at the fullest capacity. There are two costs involved in industry. One is a fixed cost, one is variable cost. So the variable cost is the one when you produce, then only variable cost will come in picture. As you cut down the production, your variable cost will come down. So that the one way we control our cost. But the fixed cost is fixed. So then the the cutting starts. How do we cut down? Like we have to go for a unnecessarily electricity should not be wasted, water should not be wasted, travels will be restricted for the senior officials. Anything subsidies will be cut down first, because this is the way you can reduce the fixed cost. Then only you can afford in the market. So it's a natural process. It continues. During COVID time, what happened? It was looking as if there is no tomorrow. So we had to cut down on the cost. We had to cut down on the. Of course, the last thing is to come heavily on the employee's salary. That lot of organization does, but our organization generally believes that we shouldn't take that step. So that is to be protected. So apart from that, other things, whatever the frills are there, all this, those things needs to be cut down first. Subsidies would cut down, conveyance allowances will be reduced. We organization will be asked to reduce the consumption of electricity, water, anything which can save some peanuts, money. So this is a natural process which we have gone through in every 2 3 years.
And then coming to your interdepartmental structure and how the processes are coordinated, like how is basically work structured among departments in your organization, like production, maintenance, electrical, and procurement and quality in your organization, and how are these departments interconnected, and how are resources allocated to each department?
Uh, See, to start with the type of industry which we are in, like the type of industry which I am in, uh, the boss is called production department. Production is the boss, right? So when the top management prepares a business plan and hand it over to the production department, then the department look into the plan, into the that monthly plan and the daily plan and the schedule plan. Then they also take inputs from the maintenance department. Maintenance means mechanical maintenance, electrical maintenance. These two are the major maintenance department in process industry. That what all maintenance they would like to do in their machines, so that this productivity can be ensured, what management is asking for. So as for them, generally once when we planned, when this type of industry is set up, that time itself there is standard norms are there, like out of 365 days, 330 days are generally considered for production, 35 days are considered for the maintenance and the breakdown. So this is a standard norm for the type of industry which I am in. So 330 days are considered production, 35 days will be for the maintenance. Those 35 days, how a maintenance department wants to divide. They want to take one major shutdown in a year for 10, 15 days. They want to do major work. And then every month they take 1 or 2 days shutdown so that they can do minor repair work. So that's the way the maintenance department gives their input. Those inputs are combined, and depends on the aging of the all the equipment, and depend on the OEM recommendations. The spare list is made, whatever spares or the inventory we have, and what all we need to do that maintenance. Those things are formulated. These are all the process of the annual business plan, which with the process runs for at least 1.5, 2 months for every year. So then the maintenance department decides what all like spares they want to buy, how many inventories they want to keep, how much inventory they want to procure, and do the in-house procurement. So based on that, they give their budget, we submit the budget, and they plan the maintenance cycle based on that. So that is the way, and those departments are interlinked. They are basically production department, which runs a campaign, all maintenance, electrical. They actually get into the line with them. And when the budget is freezed, when the inventories are freezed, the procurement departments and the stores inventory department comes in a picture, because then they have to procure as per the budget allocated. Budget is what total budget is allocated based on the production. Like everything is broken into what we produce. So for example, I produce pellet, which is measured in tons. So every time, like maintenance cost, after all this exercise, maintenance cost is calculated, and say it comes to 100 rupees per ton. So 100, every ton of pellet which I produce, for that 100 rupees ton will be allocated for the maintenance department. Now it is the department HOD's call. How does he wants to take the spend this money, so that this much turnover, this much production can be maintained. So everything is broken into the ton per cost. And once this cost is prepared, every day total cost, then we understand what would be our manufacturing cost, and that should be well within the market cost. Then only we can say. Otherwise, we can't say. When the market cost falls or the demand falls, this cost falls, and then we can't afford to buy all those inventories. So that is why the cutting corners start. We tell them not to buy. No, we can't buy right now because we don't have any market. So that is the way all these departments are interwoven, interlinked. They are also having a KPI and KRAs for them. So every month those are being reviewed, and all everyday cost is basically collected, right? Of course, the everyday cost is variable cost. So at the everyday cost is variable cost, but generally in a monthly cost we take a decision based on monthly cost. That what are measures to be taken to bring cost into control.
So, sir, like you said that production is basically the boss. So, production head or the coordination of that. What if like comes the time when this production of this boss fails? Is it more due to a communication gap, authority conflict, or time pressure? Also, like because of these, sometimes people think about changing their leadership role. So, what do you think? Did you ever face such a crisis that forced you to change, to get a major change in your leadership style?
It happens. It happens, because the toughest thing is to have a coordination between two humans. Rest everything is possible, but it's very difficult to bring two individuals into a common platform. So that is one task, which is definitely a plant head is the one who needs to handle all this. If it doesn't work at their level, it is being escalated to higher management, and then we looked into that. But generally, the type of industry which we are into, where we are mostly in a day-to-day operations and a routine production metrics. So they are not nothing devastating happens. It's possible that at times you might not reach the production target, but then you have 1 month, like say you've got a monthly business plan, and you one day you produce less or you had a breakdown, then you have to cope up for the next 2 days or next 3 days. You have to run extra shift, extra production capacity, so that you can reach up to those levels. So those decisions we need to take based on time to time. Of course, the people who are into the helm of affairs for the maintenance, operation, production, electrical, everywhere, they all on their toes. They have got been assigned target, because based on this, whatever we discuss, these KPIs and KRAs are decided. So this is your KPI, and you will be evaluated at the end of the year. Your performance will be measured against those KPIs. So if you don't reach, you don't achieve the target, or don't come to the expectations, you might face the wrath of the management. So that is very clear with anybody. Like what you guys have to appear in exam, and if you don't do well, you would be facing tough tasks from your teachers. So it's a similar way. It's more or less. But at the same time, we do have a correction mechanism available, because it's a process industry. We do not want it to fail just because one or other two individuals haven't performed well. So there is a correction metric which immediately corrects the system. So nothing devastation happens.
So the last question is, from your 31 years of experience in the industry, What do you feel has been the biggest managerial challenge that you have faced, and how did you overcome it? And also the second part of it is what advice would you give for engineering students who aspire to be in leadership roles in their future?
I've been into this job for 31 years, but not at the leadership role for 31 years. So the challenges have come different level, different challenges. But I personally feel the biggest challenge which I felt when, of course, I was not at the managing director level that time, but at the, I was the CMO level. That was during COVID. When the COVID hit, and typically our industry, it's a process industry. It has got a huge ecosystem. It's not like a service industry where you can have a Wi-Fi connection and you can work with your inside your home. So we need to mobilize 500 people every day into the plant during COVID times. Need to make sure that they are protected, no untoward incident happens. We need to shift our production, bring raw material. All these were the challenges when the world war had come to standstill. So that took a lot of time. We were continuously working on that every day, continuous discussions, meeting government officials, meeting all the healthcare professionals, and engaging them with our assignments, tasks that we need to run the organization. And of course, the government had given a mandate that we should keep the industry running. Otherwise, what would you do with all these employees? People like you and me are well to do who can survive for some time, but there are n number of people who live on day-to-day earnings. So what would they do if we shut down the plant? So we continued to operate the plant, and to be very honest, we didn't stop even for a day during all those COVID years of 2 years, almost 2.5 years, and with this meticulous planning. So, and of course, because we are producing, but there should be somebody else to buy it. So that was also a challenge. So we contacted a lot of buyers in the abroad, and we sold our product to them so that we could survive. Because domestically demands had come down, so we had to rely mostly on export. So I feel that was a thing which challenged us a lot, and it also brought a lot of new things, a lot of innovation happened. A lot of things happen, like what we are discussing today. It's a web call. This is basically due to COVID. Had it not happened, things would have not, wouldn't digital wouldn't have come so fast in India. So those things took place. We took the technologies support and all, and could do the job. Even for people, even the shift were handled most of the time from offices inside, not from home, but in offices. People were, staggered seating arrangements were made. Partitions were developed among the workstations, and the screens were deployed so that you can see the process, one process, right from their desktop, and then they can take a decisions and all. So all the things took place that time. That was the biggest challenge we faced. That segment.
So, as we could understand it, you love your job so much and you're so passionate about it. But if given a choice, and if you could restart your career today at this point, right now itself, what one decision would you change, or is there something else would you love to do it? Sorry for taking a lot of time.
Uh, there are regrets in everybody's life, so that is there. I don't call it regret, but yes, we could have taken decision. Definitely, I could have taken my career on a different path as well. So basically, I'm an automation engineer. Somehow landed up in process plant. So that is the one thing which normally at times I do believe that I shouldn't have come over here. But okay, nevertheless, whatever wherever we are, as long as you do well, that makes the most of it. Nothing much can be done. A lot of things are in your hand. A lot of things are not in your hand as well. Sometimes things doesn't work as per your will or as per your passion or decision, I must say. So those things keeps on happening in everybody's life. So what my advice to all of you young engineers is that if you are trying to get into the industries, or if you're trying, as you are in the threshold of your career, uh, the first thing which you should look at is that what your best USP is, what you're best at, what you're good at, what you can cope up with. Of course, it's a you're very young. You might be in early 20s, rather early 20s. Very few exceptionally bright students, or very few kids are there who in 20s or early 20s are able to understand the uh, arithmetics of this life business. But slowly, slowly, as we grow older, every year is a defining experience, and then we keep learning from our from the change in time and all that thing. So keep doing that. That will be a part of the process. But one thing you must all understand: we should try to do. Try to what I should call it. You develop a USP in the sense what you are best at. Correct. And then you should try to pursue, see that whichever lane you are into it, that USP should play a major role in that. If you are a very good painter and you got into a process industry, you might be a very good process engineer as well, but that your biggest USP is not being utilized here. But if you do in creative work like artwork or filmmaking or any other thing where part of this USP can be utilized, that will definitely help you. So that is what the one thing I always tell to every young fresher engineer. Though if you have joined process industry within a 1 year, if you don't feel it's that you're liking it, or you don't feel that this is the one area where you would like to excel in, better leave it. Because over the years, after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the line, if you're into that industry, you're having this experience, but you don't want, but you haven't done anything good in that, you're not excel in that because it was not your ESP, you will become a mediocre at later age of time. And toughest time in the life is that middle management. You know, the 35, 38 years to 50 years. Those 12 years in the industry life or the corporate life are the toughest life, because then you have to compete with the freshers who are tech savvy, who are coming fresh, who are wages are lower than compared to you guys or middle management guys. So every organization would prefer to take them, and then you are the one who basically some of us have lost because of certain reasons. As I said, now we couldn't get into the field which was our field, which we wanted to be in those field. Circumstances forced us to get into different field. So that is the age, or that is the time which is the toughest time for all of us, any of us who is into that line. So once you are into that line, or before you get into that fraction, 38, 40, 35 years of age bracket, 35 to 50 age bracket, better decide what is your USP and try to switch over into that age. Then only you will be able to make most of it. Right? That's
Thank
all.
you so much, sir. We'll surely follow your advice. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
So
thank
that is all the
you.
questions we have today, sir. Thank you so much for your invaluable time and sharing your rich experience with us today. Your insights on leadership, strategic decision making, industrial management, and economic realities have given us a truly practical understanding that no classroom can learn provide. We feel honored to have interacted with you today, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
so much, sir.